Welcome to my channel, members of the Alphabet Gang. My name is NikStarchild, and I make videos about my life as a thriving transgender man. On Tuesdays, I talk about transgender topics or my life. Today, we're going to talk about living in California as a transgender man. So, I'll talk about, life, work, social stuff, all those things, right? So, first of all, I want to talk about the privilege of living in the state of California, right? So California is a ginormous state. Essentially, it's a country. States are countries. That's what they are. California, the country, is quite large. It has 39 million people, 39 million, and it is 163,700 square miles of land. And, you could split up California into 3 states. You could split it into 5. It's very diverse, and I've lived here my entire life, and I was born and raised in Sacramento, one of the most diverse cities in America at one point. I have lived elsewhere. I've lived in Georgia for grad school, and I lived in Portland, Oregon for some adult life that I regret. But, California has been a sanctuary for me, and I've been able to live my life for the most part without too many issues, right? So first of all, starting my life, I would say my entire life has been gender non-conforming. Like, since I was a kid, I was a tomboy. Most people thought I was gay as a kid. I didn't know it until I came out when I was 18. I thought I was just an ally. But I've always been around or aware of queerness, and no one's had an issue with it, and me being queer was never an issue, and most people expected it. I would say that I intentionally started pushing boundaries in my mid-20s in terms of my gender expression. That was, right after undergrad. I went to a women's college, and I was exploring my gender and what that meant. I did not want to really go into it in undergrad because I felt like maybe I'm being influenced. Maybe this is just like the environment I'm in. Maybe I actually don't feel this way. Let's just hold off. So I hold off on transitioning. I go to graduate school in Georgia, in Atlanta, and I have a great time there, but I'm still having these existential thoughts, these transition thoughts. I don't really know what I want to do, so I start going to therapy, which is a fantastic option. In college, you have access to therapy, so I definitely recommend people take advantage of it, because usually it's included in your cost of tuition, so it's free, so use it. And I did that for about 1.5 years, and then at the end of that time, when I was ready to go back to California, at the end of my grad school, I decided that I actually did want to try testosterone, and I figured, you know what, I had this moment of clarity, this epiphany of like, let me try it. If it doesn't work, that's fine. I can always stop. It's not forever. You don't have to, once you commit, it's not like a lifetime commitment. So I got on testosterone right before I left Georgia, and then I continued it once I moved back to California. But there were some societal pressures, some issues, and I got on and off of it a few times until the last round, which was about 5 years ago. I got on it, and I've been on it consistently since then. Kaiser has been my provider the entire time, and I would say Kaiser has been easy to work with in terms of getting my needs met, but also I would say Kaiser is incredibly annoying because they have a lot of healthcare professionals who don't know anything about trans education, health at all, and are relying on things that maybe they just read, or they're learning with you. I had a lot of doctors where I was their first transgender patient. So, and I remember being a part of Kaiser, and when they first did their first trans clinic, and that was a terrible experience. And I've been up and down with Kaiser. The reason why Kaiser is because most employers in California offer Kaiser. That's usually an option. It's Kaiser or Blue Cross, Blue Shield, something like that. But Kaiser is really big in California, so it's always an option. And like I said, most employers in the Bay Area are very aware of trans people and are comfortable with them, and have welcoming policies. They have employee resource groups, ERGs. They celebrate the holidays. They're supporting causes, donating money. So I've really never had an issue with work. except one time. I had one issue when I was at a youth center in East Oakland. In the very beginning of my transition, I had some issues there, and that probably had to do with this group of people being mostly African American Black people who were like Gen X and boomers, and that generation just had a really hard time accepting gender nonconformity in general. So that was a kind of particular case, and I only worked there for a few months. So I moved on. I went to, once I had an issue, if there was an issue from a job that had an issue with me, it was like, well, deuces, plenty of other jobs out there, don't need you. So socially, I would say for me, the issue was probably in the beginning with accepting my voice, and having that drop or wherever it is right now. It's kind of high. It's not very low. It's androgynous, and just accepting that this is my voice. This is what it's going to sound like, and this is how I will present to the world. That was a little bit of a more of a transition than really the physical changes. It was more the voice. In terms of like friends and family, I would say it was relatively easy. Friends were super easy, as most of my friends are queer or allies, so no one cared that I was trans, and some of them transitioned with me, so it really wasn't a big deal. Family was also pretty easily, I think my mother was the hardest. She had a little bit of hard time accepting it, but she got over it. It's not an issue anymore. She still has issues with pronouns, but I would say that's most older people have issues with pronouns. Kids don't have a problem with it. Kids get it. My nephew, my nieces, whatever, they don't care. Gender stuff is always an adult issue. Children do not care about gender. Adults care about gender, and then they enforce that on children, and then they start to believe that it's an issue. I always say go with how a kid feels about things. Usually they're just like, whatever, does this matter? Can we still play together? If it doesn't matter to everyday life, then why does it matter, right? Like, to our interactions. Learn from children, I'll tell you. Anywho, so speaking back to California in general, I would say, I was mentioning earlier how California is like its own country. It's a state as a country, and we have a lot of laws that protect people, especially in the Bay Area and in LA areas. But there are some places in California where people are targeted and it's not safe. So hate crimes still happen here, and I've had experience with homophobia and getting called names here. So it's not like hate doesn't happen here. Things do happen, but overall, you're so much safer in California than I would say many other states that are very hostile to queer people and trans people in general. But yeah, I just it's just, yeah, things are just really normalized here, and it's not really an issue. But overall, my experience has been good. But as you can see in the media today, there's so much legislation in other states that are attacking trans people, trans children, and really for like no good reason, a fear of things that don't even exist, making up these scenarios, trying to call queer people groomers when the real groomers are straight people. Straight people are the ones who are sexually abusing children, and people in the clergy. So the people who they should be targeting are the people that they're giving a free pass to, but instead these conservatives are putting all this energy on targeting a very, very small group of people who are minding their business, not doing anything, riling up the base, nothing. But people from the outside who want to focus so much on us as a people, which lets me know that whenever people are so obsessed with you and your group, it's one, they are envious of you, they want to be you, or they want to fuck you. So that's why you're interested. If you care that much, it's because you are actually a part of this community and you have a problem with accepting that. But anywho, otherwise, I would say my experience in California has been incredibly positive. I don't have a lot of negative things to say. I mean, it could be better, of course. I wish that I never had any discrimination, but I experienced discrimination like a lot of people do in this country. America normalizes bullying and hate, so in our history, we have a lot of history of that, and a lack of accountability for those things. So it's gonna happen, but so far life has been pretty good, and I hope that continues, and that I can continue to thrive in California for as long as I possibly can. And if not, I don't know what to say other than hopefully things work out. So anyway, that's it. That's my experience of being transgender in California. Really short and sweet. Overall, it was good. It could it be better? Yes, absolutely. But I'm very grateful for what I have, and hopefully things will get better as the hate against our community gets stronger. I hope that there are other people who are combating that, other states who are pushing back against that, and holding and protecting our community as it should. So anyway, that's my experience. If you have any questions about that experience, or want to know more, leave me a comment. Thank you to the Alphabet Gang for watching this video and spending some time with me. You can always like, comment, or subscribe as a way to support me. But if you want to go above and beyond, you can check the links in the description. Creating content is not easy, especially for transgender people of color. So I really appreciate your support. And I will see you in the next video covering trans issues. All right, talk to you later.